Welcome to all final year students. My dear students, in the last class, we have started discussing on memorandum of association, a very important aspect for the establishment of the company as well as from the examination point of view also. Uh, Today, we will discuss about the new concept, called doctrine of ultravirus. Doctrine of ultravirus. There are actually, basically, there are three categories of ultravirus. What are those? We will discuss. Then we'll also discuss about the legality of ultra-virus acts. Okay. Then we'll discuss the effects of ultra-virus transaction. Then at the end, last, we'll discuss about the what are the exemptions to the principle or the doctrine of ultra-virus. Okay. I'll share you my PPT now. Okay. Can you see my PPT? Yes. So the new concept, the doctrine of ultravirus, this is also very, very important from the examination point of view. You will get question on this. Remember, my dear students, two things are important: the doctrine of ultravirus and the doctrine of indoor management. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಟ್ರಾ ವೈರಸ್ಸು ಅಥವಾ ಇಂಡೋರ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎರಡೂ ಓದ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ನೀವು. ಎರಡರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿಗೆ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್. ಐದರ್ ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿನ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಲ್ಟ್ರಾ ವೈರಸ್ ಆರ್ ಇಂಡೋರ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎರಡರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಬರಲೇಬೇಕು, ಬಂದೇ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಓಕೆ. Now come to the meaning of doctrine of ultravirus. Doctrine means principle of ultravirus. Ultra means beyond. One minute. Yeah. So ultra virus is the word terms. So ultra means ultra ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ beyond. Virus, VIRUS. Virus means powers. So ultra virus means beyond the power. Ultra virus means beyond the power. Okay. So in other words, ultra virus means beyond the powers. Got it? Ultra virus literally means doing an act which is beyond the legal powers or authority of a company as laid down in the memorandum of association. Please make a point. Ultra virus literally means doing an act which is beyond the legal powers or authority of the company as laid down in the memorandum of association. This doctrine is invoked in connection with the objects clause of memorandum of association. Okay. A company has a power to do all such things which are essential for the attainment of its main object specified in the memorandum of association. A company has the power to do all such things which are reasonably and fairly incidental to the attainment of its main objects. And the point number 3 is a company has the power to do all such things which are otherwise authorized by the Companies Act. So I have mentioned three different things. One is which are essential for the attainment of its main objects specified in the memorandum of association. The second one is which are reasonably and fairly incidental to the attainment of its main objects. And the third one is which are otherwise authorized by the Companies Act. All these related to the company has the power to do all such things related to these 3 points. Any act other than these three, or any act other than the said act in ultra virus the company. ಇದು ಮೂರು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಸರ್ ಅದು ಅಲ್ಟ್ರಾ ವೈರಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So any act other than the just now I mentioned three, no, and all other acts is considered as ultra virus of the company. The ultra virus acts can be classified into basically three types, categories or types. Here you can see the categories or classified into three categories. Number one is act ultra virus the directors. If an act of the company is ultra virus, the directors, that is beyond the powers of the directors, but it is intravirus of the company. I'll repeat, if an act of the company is ultravirus of the director, ultravirus of the directors, but intravirus of the company, ultravirus ಅಂದ್ರೆ beyond the power of the directors here. Intravirus ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲಿ intravirus ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ within the legal power of the company. Ultravirus of the director ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ beyond the power of the director. Intravirus of the company ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ within the legal power of the company. So ultra means beyond, intravirus means within the legal power, within the power. Okay. The act is not altogether wide. So act ultra virus director is not at all altogether wide. The general body of the shareholders can definitely ratify it, can accept it. Later on, it can be rectified. Okay. The second one, the act ultra virus the articles of association. If an act is ultra virus of the articles of association, which means beyond the powers given by the articles of association, but it intravirus the company. Intravirus company andre within the legal powers of the company, a company can definitely ratify it by making the necessary alteration in the articles of association by passing a special resolution. Okay. And the number three is ultra virus the memorandum of association of the company. If an act is ultra virus the memorandum of association or the company, andartha beyond the powers given by the memorandum of association or beyond the legal powers of the company, it is fully wide and inoperative. Please remember, ಮೊದಲ ಎರಡನ್ನ ಸರಿ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವುದು ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಟ್ರಾ ವೈರಸ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ and ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಟ್ರಾ ವೈರಸ್ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಸರಿ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇದು act ultra virus the memorandum of association is completely fully wide and inoperative. It may be noted that even the entire body of the shareholders cannot ratify. ಎಲ್ಲ shareholder ಒಟ್ಟಾಗಿ ಸರಿ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. It may be noted that even the entire body of the shareholders cannot ratify such an act by a resolution in general meeting. This point was made very clear in Ashbury Railway Carriage, Rail Carriage and Iron Company Limited versus Ritchie. So this was decided in the case, reading case. You can expect this case in the exam also. Short note barbodu. Explain the legal point involved in the Ashbury Rail Carriage. In the Solomon case also important. Okay, fine. Now I'll tell you the facts of the case. As laid down in the memorandum of association, the main object of the Ashbury Rail Carriage and Company was to manufacture, sell, or hire all kinds of wagons, business of mechanical engineers and general contractors. As per the memorandum of association, the main object of the Ashbury Railway Carriage and Iron Company Limited was to manufacture, sell, or hire all kinds of wagons, business of mechanical engineers, and general contractors. Okay. Company entered into a contract with a firm of contractors, that is nothing but Riche, R-I-C-H-E. The company entered into a contract with the firm of contractors, that is Riche, to provide finance, to it for construction of railway lines in Belgium. ನೋಡಿ, ಕಂಪನಿ ಹುಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಏನು, ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಏನಂತ ಗೊತ್ತು ನಿಮಗೆ. ಈಗ ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಇಲ್ಲಿ, company entered into a contract with the Riche to provide finance to it for the construction of the railway lines in Belgium. ಈ ಫೈನಾನ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಫೈನಾನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ ಟು ದಿ ಅನದರ್ ಕಂಪನಿ, ಅದು ಈ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅದು. We will see later on. Subsequently, what happened is, company argued that it was not bound by the contract as it was ultra vires. On the other hand, Riche argued that the said contract fell within the ambit of the words general contractors. But Riche company had the company was established for the purpose of manufacture, sell, hire all kinds of wagons. ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, business of mechanical engineering and general contractors ಅಂತ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಈ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಹೇಳುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಫೈನಾನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುದು ಅಥವಾ ರೈಲ್ವೆ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ಸಹ ಅದು ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ರೈಲ್ವೆ ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳುವಂಥದ್ದು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಜನರಲ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಯಾರು, ರಿಚಿ. ಓಕೆ, ನೋಡೋ ಜಡ್ಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಏನ್ ಬಂತು ನೋಡೋಣ. It was held that, or upholding the contentions of the company, the court held that the said contract did not fall within the ambit of the words general contractors, and the contract being ultra vires, beyond the power. Company was not bound by it. So in this case, the object of the doctrine was explained by Lord Justice Cairns, C-A-I-R-N-S, name of the judge. ಅವನು ಈ ರೀತಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, ಅವನು ಎರಡು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಅವನು the object of the doctrine was explained, ಎರಡು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. Number 1, to protect investors of the company so that they may know the objects in which their money is to be employed. To protect the investors of the company so that they may know the objects in which their money is to be employed. The second one is to protect the creditors by ensuring that company funds to which they must look for the payment and are not dissipated in unauthorized activities. So, ಅವನು ಎರಡು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಒಂದು, ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ನ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ, ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ದ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ಗೂ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹಣ ಏನ್ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು. ಎರಡನೇದು, ಅಗೇನ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ದ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್. ಮೊದಲಿಗೆ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಎರಡನೇದು ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ದ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್. ಕಂಪನಿ ಶುಡ್ ಎನ್ಶೂರ್ ದಟ್ ದ ಕಂಪನಿ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಟು ವಿಚ್ ದೇ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಲುಕ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ and they should not be used for any unauthorized activities. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ unauthorized activities ಗೆ ಅಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ದಂಗೆ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ it is a ultra virus beyond the company power ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಜಡ್ಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ. So the term general contractors must be interpreted in the light of the preceding term business of mechanical engineers. Interpreted so, a contract made by a company must be one which must strictly fall within anything connected with the business of mechanical engineers. So ultimately, the court gave a clear chit that no doubt this is a ultra virus. So ಹಾಗಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ಕೇಸ್ related to ultra virus ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು. Fine. Now come to the legality of ultra virus acts. The legality or legality or validity of ultra virus acts can be explained in three different headings. Number one is ultra virus the director. Ultra virus the director. An act of the company which is ultra virus the director is not altogether wide and inoperative. Is it not? It can be ratified by the general body of shareholders. When the act is so ratified, the company becomes bound by the same. Fine. The second one is ultra virus director. It can be ratified and it is not totally inoperative. It is not totally altogether wide. Similarly, ultra virus the articles of association. I'm talking about the legal or validity aspects of ultra virus. The second one, ultra virus the articles of association. An act which is ultra virus the articles of association is also not altogether wide and inoperative like ultra virus directors. Even like ultra virus directors, even ultra virus the articles of association also can be ratified by the company by making the necessary alteration in the articles of association by passing a special resolution. There are types of resolution there, ordinary resolution, special type. Later on we will discuss. So for the time being, remember special resolution pass not ordinary resolution. Thereafter, the company becomes bound by all such acts. So it may, however, be noted that such an act can only be ratified if it is intra-virus the company. Remember, it can be ratified. It can be if it is intra-virus the company. Intra-virus the company, if it falls within the power of the company. Company power otherwise ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Okay, next. Ultra virus the company. ಇದು ಗೊತ್ತು ನಿಮಗೆ. It is totally wide and inoperative ಅಲ್ವಾ? The acts which are ultra virus the company are wholly wide, fully wide and inoperative as they are beyond the legal powers of the company. Thus it was decided in the case just now we discussed Ashbury Rail Carriage and Iron Company Limited. So the company is not bound by such acts. It may be noted that such acts cannot be ratified even if the entire whole body of the shareholders comes together. The doctrine of ultra virus is generally meant for this category of ultra virus acts. We know that company is formed only for the objects stated in its memorandum of association. Memorandum of association alli ಏನು object clause ಇದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಡಿವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸಾಧ್ಯನಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಡಿವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ultra virus of the company ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So company should focus only on the objects which are mentioned in the memorandum of association. No. The company therefore has the power to do the three different acts. The company therefore has powers to do three different acts. Number one is which are essential for the attainment of the object stated in the memorandum of association, which are reasonably and fairly incidental to the attainment of the object, and number three, which are otherwise authorized by the Companies Act. Now, more point to array same 3 points. Clear? So, if the company does any other act which is not covered in these three, that will be considered as ultra virus of the memorandum of association and shall be wholly wide and inoperative. Okay, so the company is not bound by the acts which are ultra virus the memorandum of association, that is beyond the legal powers of the company. Any irregularity in doing the acts may be cured with with the consent of all the shareholders. The purpose of this doctrine is to protect the interests of the investors and the creditors. The purpose of this doctrine is to protect. I think has already been explained. Yaro. Keynes ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ CAIRNS ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ Lord Justice Keynes has explained in two ways ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ ultimately ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದ ಅವನು the purpose of the doctrine is to protect the interest of the investors and to protect the interest of the creditors. Is it not? Okay. Now come to the effects of ultra virus transaction. Effects. Number one is first effect is contract is white. Ultra virus transaction render the contract void, giving no legal right to the company or the outsider against each other. So contract is void. And the second one is the property acquired under ultra virus transaction. If a company acquires the property under any ultra virus transaction, the company's right over the property shall be protected as it is the share capital, which ultimately belongs to the shareholders and is invested on such property, is it not? If the company acquire property under any ultra virus transaction, the company's right over the property shall be protected. Okay. As it is the share capital which ultimately belongs to shareholders and is invested on such property. And number three is injunction. Injunction, any member of the company may obtain an injunction. You know the meaning of injunction, we have discussed in the business law, commercial law. It's an order, decree, DECRE, decree, not degree. It's a decree or injunction or order from the court to restrain, from the court to stop the company from persisting in ultra virus acts. So stay order ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ same, can bring the stay order, can bring the injunction from the court to restrain, to stop the company from persisting in ultra virus act. Ultra virus act ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನು stop ಮಾಡಬಹುದು by bringing the injunction or decree or stay order. Okay. Next, personal liability of directors. So directors who part with the company's money or property for ultra virus objects will be personally held liable to replace the funds which they have utilized for such ultra virus objects. So directors are personally liable. Directors will be asked to repay or refund. For example, the directors paying interest out of a capital which they are personally bound to reimburse. Okay, next, number 5, breach of warranty or authority. As agents, the directors of company are supposed to act within the authority delegated to them. If they act beyond the authority given to them, the directors may be held personally liable to a third party for its loss on account of breach of warranty of authority. And the last effects of ultra virus transaction is ultra virus borrowing. Person borrowing money from the company under a contract which is ultra virus. Person borrowing money from the company under a contract which is ultra virus can be sued, SUED, can be sued by the company to recover the amount so lent. Now come to the last aspect of today's class. So with this, memorandum of association and doctrine of ultra virus both completed. Okay. So the last aspect for today's class is what are the exception to the doctrine of ultra virus. The ultra virus acts in both the meaning of the ultra virus act, which means The acts which are beyond the powers of the company are void and inoperative. Is it not? However, in the six different cases following, there are six circumstances. There are six circumstances. The ultra virus acts are not absolutely inoperative. Clear? So ಈ ಆರು ಸಂದರ್ಭಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು totally inoperative ಅಲ್ಲ. So exceptions are available. Number one is ultra virus expenditure. If the company acquires some property by ultra virus expenditure, the company's right over the property will be protected, no doubt. The reason for the same is that such property, though acquired by making unauthorized expenditure, represents the company's property. Is it not? So ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇದನ್ನು ratify ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Ultra virus ಆದ್ರೂ ಸಹ it can be ratified. It is not totally void and inoperative ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. It is not totally void and is not totally inoperative. It can be ratified. And similarly, the second exemption is ultra virus property contract, similar to the previous one. If the company acquires some property under any ultra virus contract, the same can be recovered from the company if it exists and is traceable in the hands of the company. And similarly, in case of ultra virus loan ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಸಹ ಹಾಗೆ. If the company takes an ultra virus loan and uses it to pay off its own debts, then no doubt the money lender gets the rights of that creditor whose loan has been paid by the company and can recover his money from the company. It is not altogether ultra virus loan. And similarly, the fourth case is ultra virus borrowing a contract. One minute. Well, if any person borrows money from the company under an ultra virus contract, the company has the right to sue and recover the money from him. So point number 3 and 4 almost one and same. Point number 3, if the company takes an ultra virus loan if the company takes loan, and in case of fourth one, when the company gives loan or any person borrows money from the company, ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಮೂರನೇ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಪನಿ ಸಾಲ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು, 4ನೇ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಪನಿ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಸಾಲ ಕೊಡುವಂಥದ್ದು, ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಸೊ ಬೋತ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಟುಗೆದರ್ ಅಲ್ಟ್ರಾ ವೈರಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ರಾಟಿಫೈಡ್. ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ನಂಬರ್ 5, ultra virus the company. If a director of a company makes payment of certain money which is ultra virus the company, he can be compelled by the company to refund it. However, the director may claim indemnity. The director may claim compensation from the person who received the money, knowing that it is ultra virus. So it is altogether doctrine of ultra virus agalla. It can be ratified. So exemptions which are available to the doctrine of ultra virus. ಸೊ ಈ 6 ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಿಮಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್, the company may be ultra virus torts. Is it not? The company may be, meaning of tort in ಗೊತ್ತು civil wrongs ಅಲ್ವಾ? Yeah, the company may be held liable for the ultra virus tort, that is civil wrongs of its employees. However, the company will be liable only if the employees proves that the tort was committed in the course of an activity which falls within the scope of the company's memorandum, and the employees committed the tort within the course of his employment. ಈ 2 ಸಂದರ್ಭಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವ 2 ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ? ಕಂಪನಿ will be liable only if 2 points are satisfied. If 2 points are proved. What are those 2 points? Number 1 is the tort was committed in the course of an activity which falls within the scope of the company's memorandum. And the second point, if the employees committed the tort within the course of his employment. ಈ ಎರಡು ಸಂದರ್ಭಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಟ್ರಾ ವೈರಸ್ ಟಾರ್ಚಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. So with this, I have completed both memorandum of association as well as doctrine of ultravirus. So both are important, and in the next class, I'll be taking the articles of association. Articles of association. So ನಾನು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅವಾಗ ಐದರ್ ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿನ್ ಆಫ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟಿವ್ ನೋಟಿಸ್, ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿನ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಲ್ಟ್ರಾವೈರಸ್, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಇಂಡೋರ್ ಮ್ಯಾನಮೆಂಟು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿನ್ ಆಫ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟಿವ್ ನೋಟಿಸ್. ಮೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಂಡೋರ್ ಮ್ಯಾನಮೆಂಟು, ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿನ್ ಆಫ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟಿವ್ ನೋಟಿಸು, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಅಲ್ಟ್ರಾವೈರಸ್. ಇದು ಮೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ till then have a nice time. Next class we'll discuss about articles of association. Thank you very much.